Do I get a chance to slack Jack Grealish because we mentioned him or no? I don't.
Do not insult Grealish in my presence, or we will have crosswords.
I want to say, as Grealish in recent weeks turned back into Luke Chadwick again.
No,
there was never this Luke Chadwick. Stop with this Luke Chadwick. I hate you so much.
The easiest team in the world to hide inside is Manchester City and any Pep's team. That's how great Pep Guardiola is. That's how great Pep Guardiola is. Pep Guardiola is very good in hiding his players' flaws. Every player has a flaw. Every player. Erling Haaland, even Messi has a flaw. But he's very good in hiding it. The problem with Jack Grealish is that now there is a player that showed up at the club, probably unknown, didn't play in the top 6 leagues or didn't play in the top club, and suddenly he's lighting everything up and he's providing something else than Haaland. Last year, it was Haaland. Haaland hasn't scored his chances, but someone else is stepping up. Alvarez as well. So now Jack Grealish is on the pitch. If Haaland isn't scoring the chances, he isn't providing enough output. And that's what we talked about last year. You cannot hide anymore because you have to show up now. It's very obvious and people won't talk about it. Jack Grealish is a nice guy. Jack Grealish is a nice guy. I get it. He's a nice guy. You love him. He's the face of the club. He's
performed. He's already we've already got the money that he
performed when?
Last year. We won the Champions League because of Jack Grealish.
You're telling me. Actually, last year, I said that Jack Grealish, for me, holds the ball, draws fouls, draws players. If you're £100 million player, you need to get up.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question for the panel?
Yes.
If Jack Grealish wasn't at Man City and you had another good quality player in your team instead of him, like like Doku would have been there last year instead of this year?
Maybe.
Mitoma, anyone like that. If it wasn't Jack Grealish, do you think City would have still won the treble last year without Jack Grealish?
No, definitely not. He was one of our best players last season. I don't know. I watched every single minute of Man City last season.
I do as well.
You didn't watch as much as me, so I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now that Jack Grealish was a superior player to Kevin De Bruyne last season. I don't really care what you think about that. He was better than Kevin De Bruyne last season. Absolutely. The only outfield.
Guys, let Nobbins explain why, so I can hear him. Sorry.
The only outfield players last season that were better than Grealish were probably in all competitions were probably Ake and Erling Haaland for obvious reasons. Without Jack Grealish...
Rodri.
Pardon?
Rodri.
Again, I think Rodri's a lot of recency bias. First half of the season, he wasn't fantastic. Jack Grealish was... Actually, even Haaland wasn't consistent. Grealish was our only consistent performer throughout the entirety of last season.
I thought he was very good last season.
He was fantastic. So I'm not having this thing of I don't want to misquote Mo. I think Mo said something along the lines of he wasn't that good last season, something like that. That's just nonsense. That's just nonsense. There's no way.
Okay. In your opinion, yes.
We can't play our football without Jack Grealish based on last season. Now does he should he score? Is he perfect? No. Should he score more goals? Yes. But people have this weird idea that I swear people didn't watch Jack Grealish at Aston Villa. They think that Grealish at Villa was this amazing 1v1 direct winger who would always take on his man. If you watched any Aston Villa, and I watch a lot because I really like Grealish at Villa, that was not his game at all. So he goes to City and people now want him to be something which he just isn't. That's not his game at all. What Grealish does is he helps control the play and he helps slow things down. It's not sexy, but he helps get City up the pitch into those goal-scoring positions. He progresses the ball into the final third. He progresses the ball into the penalty area. Again, that is not a sexy thing to do. And visually, it's not something that you're naturally drawn to. But if you know what you're looking for, then you know exactly what Grealish provides this side. So I'm just not having it. You can criticize his performances this season, sure, but I'm not hearing any criticism of last season. No shot.
Nobbins, I think he's a brilliant facilitator.
He is.
Brilliant facilitator. That's for me. And he's so good at recognizing space and where to drive with the ball, where to pass, I agree with you.
Yeah, and we want to talk about output, quote, even though I think, like just focusing on big moments is a bit silly, but if we want to talk about, quote, big moments, a goal at Old Trafford and a goal at the Emirates and an assist at Stamford Bridge and all these other really key moments in which Grealish contributed to in respect of direct output, not even talking about his overall play.
Okay, anybody, any decent player, in the Man City system last year, in the way you played football, and you were sensational at the end of the season, will be able to get the ball at the line, any decent player, and do that. You guys at Man City, you do that. Some of your players were absolutely phenomenal last year. KDB was phenomenal. Bernardo Silva was phenomenal. Jack Grealish was a good player on the team, was part of the team. For me, I thought that everybody else would have done any good player. I'm not going to say average. I'm not going to give a player from Championship and compare him. Jack Grealish, Aston Villa was good, yes. He was the heartbeat of that team. He wasn't getting every output, yes. But Jack Grealish last year was just holding the ball, yes, driving the team, but teams already defend against Man City and opens. Teams already sit back against Man City. We're with Jack Grealish. It's as simple as that.
Which makes exploiting that space even harder.
And he doesn't even have the space. That's why he
doesn't
do anything with the space.
It's not that. This is the thing. I know this generation, they live on assists, but I've been saying it.
What generation?
The guy, he drugs 4 players out position. Like 3-4 players are out.
Exactly, Hamza.
Like, and then there's a space free. And then suddenly we play 1 to KDB, back to Haaland, but people don't look back.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask a question though? Right, I'm not saying that Jack Grealish doesn't do those things, because he does. We've all watched him do it, and it's important. Yeah. Is it just the case maybe that a lot of other football players are also not judged on the other elements of their game that are not goals and assists as attackers? Because what I mean by that is that I notice this all the time. There are certain people that are always judged for things they don't do. And maybe there's a little bit of that going on with Jack Grealish, and City fans have his back. And I always think this reminds me a lot of Liverpool supporters who for years defended Firmino when he wasn't scoring and he wasn't assisting. They said that he was a facilitator. And the word they used, he was a defensive striker. So he did a lot of pressing, a lot of winning the ball back.
Dirty work.
This is when the acid test will be. If you guys keep winning, you're never going to be able to disprove it per se, other than opinions. Where it becomes interesting is you guys as City fans. If Pep leaves in the summer, let's say he does, and then you guys start to struggle a bit more, you fall off a little bit, and Jack Grealish isn't scoring and assisting, I'll be interested to see how many City players suddenly don't mind him not being a key influencer in terms of outputs per game. Because when Liverpool dropped off, suddenly the lack of goals and assists from Firmino became a really big problem within a large percentage of their fan base. And I'm not saying Jack Grealish isn't a good footballer. I think there's so much about him that's impeccable. Obviously, when I call him Luke Chadwick, I'm being very facetious. It's a little bit of a joke. I know that jokes are almost illegal in the UK this day and age, and people get very, very offended. Surprised that, is it section 4A or section 4B, 1994? I'll end up having the police at my door because somebody's going to be overly offended by it one day. But for me, it's a case of like, I do still want to see a bit more from him in the sense of I see him beat people, and he's in a position to make a good pass or have a shot that's conceivably going to go in, and the final ball, that shot doesn't go in. And that, for me, is where my issue lies, is I know he does all those other good things, but I've also seen him in positions where he should get a lot more assists, or at least create the chances, and he should score a little bit more,
he
doesn't quite do it. So for me, I'm not saying that he's been a pointless signing, but I would still say that there are times, like tonight, there's so many times where I thought I'd got the better of his man, put that ball across that 6-yard box, someone will tap it in, and he'll cut back and go the other way. And for me, I just think sometimes you'd score more. Again, you're a brilliant team, so nobody notices because you end up winning anyway. But
exactly.
I want to add a point here. Can I add a point? Very important. I'm sorry, guys. I want to add a point.
Let me check.
Man City, because Man City are a good team and are winning. You guys last year are doing what, for example, Liverpool are doing with Darwin Núñez. In my opinion, Darwin Núñez is a good player. When I say Jack Grealish isn't up to the level, I'm not saying Jack Grealish is a bad player. He's a good player. But is he that superstar that everybody makes him to be? For me, Darwin Núñez, because Liverpool are winning now, nobody's highlighting the flaws in his game. When Liverpool were losing last year, Darwin Núñez was still creating chaos, was still running behind, was still missing chances that people say he's missing now. But because Liverpool are winning now, everything is fine. The sugar is there, the tea is sweet, and everything is
great. Is amazing.
No. I'm not. I didn't say. Don't put words in my mouth. That's the whole point about it. When teams win, guys, it hides flaws. We're not saying that Jack Grealish is a bad player. All my point is, for me, Jack Grealish was probably the 8th or 7th most important player at your club. I can name 8 players if you take them out last year, you would not have been playing the same football. The KDBs, the Rodri, Ederson, Diaz, Ake, even Akanji, right? Haaland. If
a lot of people helps
Jack
Grealish again, what helps Jack Grealish and a lot of players get. I'm not saying he's getting away with something, but we also know when you pass that eye test, and Jack Grealish passes the eye test both with his footballing ability and how he looks. He's a very good-looking man. When you pass the eye test, you do also get away with more than somebody that doesn't. There are players that actually fail the eye test who deliver that will get more stick than a player that doesn't. So I do get it, and I do understand his importance in your team, but I don't necessarily think you had to spend £100 million to get that quality. I think
is he similar to Gabriel Jesus at Arsenal?
Did he against Real Madrid and Bayern?
The same way Arsenal fans talk about Jesus, he doesn't really score, but his link-up play, all the chaos, he's so integral to their team. But isn't he the same as Grealish? Like he should be scoring a lot more. Jesus should be scoring a lot more.
I prefer
because Arsenal winning when they win, it's no problem.
Let me give you an example. I said it to City fans. The day Sterling leaves our club, we're winning UCL. They laughed at me. Wow. Oh, you can't. I said, football is 11 men. You're joking.
Respect, Sterling.
No, 1 second. No. But I've seen Champions League for many years. Champions League needs intelligent players. You cannot miss sitters. You have to work as a structure. I'm telling you, I've seen Champions League being won. Look at Mo's team, smash and grab team that didn't deserve it against Barcelona, won the treble. What a joke. Yeah, we've had Chelsea finishing 5th, went and won it. Liverpool finished 5th in this league, went and won it. You need a structure. In Champions League, you can't play the same way as the league. Grealish suited the way we played. He did well against Bayern Munich. He was excellent against Bayern Munich. He was excellent against Real Madrid. That's it. That seals it. If you can do to the elite level, I don't care about Bournemouth and these are like little teams. They're nobodies. The big level of Real Madrid at Bernabeu, Grealish did it. Allianz Arena, nutmeg. Muller pretended he was running back. He got nutmeg. He was outstanding.
Amazing nutmeg, guys. Now we're praising Jack Grealish for a nutmeg. Hamza, you have no idea about football. I'm sorry, my man. Because in the Champions League,
I don't know about that.
It's all about results in the Champions League. Even your manager said that in the Champions League, it's not about the system and it's not about anything. It's about getting the result. Your manager said that I surrender positions sometimes. And he did last year against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, which is something that is not a custom, and that's why he won the Champions League. You lost against Madrid the year before because you kept pressing while winning the game, and the game was on your pocket. You changed the way you play football, Hamza, because you grew up. I don't know. You're old enough to know, but I don't know if you watched football before Pep Guardiola came to Man City or not. But you only watch football when you think the football is just ball position. That's the problem. You study history and everything, but you don't know about the football that it's not only about having the ball position, my man. It's about absolutely getting the result. So thank you so much. Ancelotti said it, Arrigo Sacchi said it, Alex Ferguson said it, even your manager that you think knows most, which is I respect, your manager is one of the greats, said that it's not about the system and it's not about that at the Champions League against the top.
Oh, you got it wrong.
It's about we get the results in the league. In the league, the system works because it works against 17 out of the 19 teams you play. In the Champions League, it's about changing and adapting in the Champions League. So you got it wrong, my friend. Your manager even said it. You just don't know.
I'm going to go to some more super chats here. This one here says, Grealish ain't it. I'm a City fan, but there's blind faith amongst local City fans to shelter Grealish. He ain't it. Stop protecting him, is what KP says here about Grealish. Gundogan, KDB, Rodri, and Haaland all better than Grealish last year is what Football Breakdown says. Jack ain't even replicating his form he had at Villa, is what KP says. Imagine this City team with KDB and Stones with the new additions of Guardiola and Doku. Scary times ahead. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a madness. Haaland needs to be benched and a Kanji must go. God, Haaland benched.
You know what? We laugh at that comment, but don't. This is Pep Guardiola. He has standards, bro, and he does not care who you are. If he feels you need to go whole bench, he'll do it. He don't give a damn.
Nobody's saying Grealish had a better year than any other outfield City player last year. Is the most Hamza thing. Oh, Hamza thing. Right, Hamza thing. I've ever heard someone else say.
But he didn't say this.
I've got to address this. First of all, I didn't say that. Haaland had a better season. Secondly, if you want to bring up the likes of Gundogan, De Bruyne, Rodri, perfectly fine. I would suggest that's a lot of recency bias. The first half of the season, they were bordering on being like pretty average, to be honest. There was a conversation about Partey and Casemiro being better than Rodri in the first half of the season. Same with De Bruyne, he was way below his levels. Grealish even Haaland had a drop. Grealish is the only player across the entire season last year in our treble winning year who was great from start to finish.